This is the Lonely Island, and you're visiting ShowbizMonkeys.com.
I'm alright. Around this town. I'm alright. I mean, no consequence when you playing with the fire. Move to the left, man.
Okay, so we are here with local Winnipeg comedian Ryan Ash. You're performing next week at the Winnipeg Comedy Festival.
That's right.
So yeah, we're just in Osborne Village area, which is where you're performing over at the Gas Station Theatre.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to the festival?
Oh, definitely. Oh man, I only got into the after parties last year, and I got to watch all the shows in the Winnipeg Comedy Fest, and so as a result, I'm looking real forward to being a part of that again and doing the performance thing. It's going to be fun.
Now, as I said, you're on the Winnipeg Show, so it's all either local based or locally born comedians. Who else is on the show that you know of?
Well, Dan Huen's on the bill, which is good. A good friend of mine. And as well, I think Paul Roblowskis actually just got added as well, which is awesome. And then how we have Bruce Clark on the bill too, which is going to be excellent. We just and John B. Duff's hosting the whole thing, so it's going to be you know, a Winnipeg kind of evening.
And that is on Friday night at 10:30, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. Friday night, April 8th.
Now, getting into your comedy, when did you first get started in stand-up comedy?
I started stand-up about, well, it would be, I guess it'd be almost 5 years now in March. And then for my first 2 years, I admittedly was kind of a part-timer, and then I really started picking, actually I shouldn't say that, I was on and off. I did streaks where I'd try and hit a mic a night for like 2 months and then disappear entirely for 2 more. I was spotty. But yeah, 5 years ago I started, and then 3 years ago I really started doing it full time.
And you, while you're on the Winnipeg Show, you live here now. You're originally from Edmonton, right?
That's right.
So when did you move to Winnipeg?
I moved here, first day here was January 13th of 2010.
Okay, so you're only a little over a year into the Winnipeg scene.
Yeah, I'm past my my year anniversary now, but yeah, not quite at 2.
Now, as kind of someone who came in from the outside into the Winnipeg scene, what was your impression of the local comedy scene?
You know what, I was really worried when I was moving away from Edmonton, because Edmonton has a lot of comedy clubs, and they also have a lot of kind of business party things to do, and there's lots of work for openers and middle spots and anyone who's developing who's not quite doing the feature act thing. There was lots of opportunities to get up, and so I was really nervous moving to Winnipeg because I didn't think that I was going to experience the same thing, and you know, all the local comics had no idea what the scene was like here, so they just kind of pounded that into me too, and they bugged me a whole bunch about it before I moved. So I was convinced when I came here I'd be kind of on dark days in that regard, and I'd have to look outside the city a lot more for work and just to keep myself busy. But I was really pleasantly surprised, as I'm sure most people are, at exactly what's going on here, which is kind of a comedy renaissance by the look of it, or some kind of surge of comedy that's happened lately. And I've been fortunate enough to kind of just get here in the middle of it and be you know, one of the many beneficiaries of all the stage time we all get.
Now, when you did first get here, did you know anyone locally like that could get you, you know, in touch with some of the comics, or did you just look for open mics?
Well, my buddy back in Edmonton, he's a headliner who's been through here before, Sean LeComber, put me in touch with Jason Beck, who's Rumor's regular host and great comedian and friend of mine, and yeah, I just met up with Beck and had a beer with him, and from, you know, that point on we were buddies, because he's real easy to get along with. And yeah, from there, I guess Beck told me about different rooms that were happening around town. So first I went to Beck's room at the Marlborough Hotel and did the open mic there. I also knew actually Rumor's host Dan Burbill as well before I got into town, and he's performing as part of the Rumor series along with Beck for the Comedy Fest here. And then one night I went down to the Cavern on Osborne Street, and that's when I did the first mic that John B. Duff hosted. Well, not the first mic he hosted, but the first mic I'd attended that he'd hosted. And yeah, from there I kind of saw what was going on for the stand-up and alt comedy and all those kind of scenes, and I was really pleased. Winnipeg's been really good to me so far.
Now, with alt comedy, Winnipeg seems to have more of an alt comedy scene. Have you noticed that those kind of comics that are coming out of like LA and New York are a big influence on the local scene and local comedians?
Yeah, I think so. I think those who are tuned into what those guys are doing kind of have an appreciation for it. I think a lot of the alt comics coming out of LA right now exhibit real capabilities with new media, and I think it's really important for somebody involved in the business to be really good at new media kind of stuff. It gives you a big hand in publicity, and so I think those guys are really tuned to a younger sensibility in a way, I think, with some of the things they do. And I think a lot of good comics in Winnipeg are part of the younger crowd, and you can see the appreciation for that scene in their work, you know.
Now, how do you personally use new media to either promote yourself or just get your comedy out there?
You know what, I'm starting to do it more now. I guess we've been going on the weekends and shooting in different stuff, like shooting music videos, shooting comedy shorts, and just taking video of my set in general. I guess I've been trying to incorporate it more now because I think it's fun. I like acting too, so I like making the YouTube video stuff. And I guess I like hearing my own voice, so I like doing podcasting and radio stuff.
So what kind of stuff is out there right now that people can check out of yours?
Right now, you know what, I try to appear as a regular guest on Dan Huen and Tim Gray's show, The Bus and Muffler, which is on UMFM at midnight on Sundays, and it also is available on podcast on www.grayareaofcomedy.com. And you can check me out live around town at Rumors. If it's in Winnipeg here, I'll host the club. And what else am I putting out there? You can check me out online at www.youtube.com/RenoAsh, RENOASH. I have some videos up there. Or you can look up my rap group with Paul Rablowskis, and that's MP3 Massacre. And we're gonna have some videos coming out real soon for some of our new rap tracks.
What's the story behind that? I've seen one video so far.
Yeah.
Of what you've done.
Well, basically, I don't know. Me and Paul like to stand around at parties and cipher, do things like I don't know, freestyle battles and right hooks and things like that, like a lot of people do. But we just figured that we'd combine that with our stand-up thing and lay down some actual tracks. And I've always liked writing things that rhymed, lyrics and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it just kind of came with, you just have to make the effort, I guess. I always wanted to do a rap thing. I just, you know. Did
you want to do a rap thing with comedy specifically? Was that your, or did you actually have like
I think that's my
idea to be a serious hip hop artist?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I have a common ground with the industry enough to, I don't know. No, I'm not hard enough.
Okay.
No.
Now, going back to when you were getting started in comedy, obviously you had an appreciation for comedy before starting, because you wouldn't jump into it without being a fan. Who were you a big fan of growing up?
Well, I got Richard Pryor in my. I had a tape of Richard Pryor. I thought he was awesome. In movies, I was like a big fan of Ernest. I thought Ernest was so funny, but not a stand-up comedian, I guess. And I guess for some reason when I was a kid, I saw one clip of Michael Richards at Just for Laughs, and I was convinced he was like the funniest dude in the world. I thought he had like 5 albums or something. So I guess Pryor. I liked Robin Williams. In like talk show interviews and stuff like that. I understood he was a stand-up comic, but I was never allowed to watch any of his stuff. Then I saw Eddie Murphy when I was in junior high. I saw Raw and Delirious back to back, and I thought that was just hilarious. And then I started watching Chris Rock, and like for a while it was like it was like Chris Rock, and then Run Tell That by Martin Lawrence. And so like I grew up for like 5 years, and it was just like all black comedians, BET comedians and stuff like that, and like comedians, like urban comedians. Yeah.
So you obviously took a lot of your own comedy from the urban scene.
Yeah. I mean, I thought those guys were hilarious, and their stage presence is awesome. And I should switch gears and say, then I really like Norm Macdonald, and I don't know. And nowadays.
Yeah. Now, who do you like? Do you listen to a lot of comedy still, or watch a lot of comedy?
Yeah, I love comedy, and so I don't know. I think Patrice ONeal is a monster. He's like, I've never laughed harder than the Patrice ONeal show I was at in the comic strip in Edmonton. Like, literally, I always thought someone putting their head down and banging on a table is just like a really cartoonish way to express something, but the fact of the matter is, like, he had me with my head down just slamming a table. It felt like my sides were literally gonna rip off. He was so funny, he destroyed it. I really like Doug Stanhope. And
so it really kind of jumps around. There isn't really, like, from the sounds of it, it's not like just one type of comic that you're influenced by or that you listen to.
Well, you know, good jokes are good jokes.
Yeah.
You don't want to pigeonhole yourself in. Sometimes I've gone out and like criticized a comedian, and then I immediately lapse into like, what do I know mode. And like the fact that probably if I met someone backstage and I was just hating on him my whole life, that would be the one person that would be the nicest to me, and I'd feel like you know, I just guilt myself forever after that. So like, yeah, I don't know. When it comes to comedy, I think it's good to keep a broad mind.
And then finally, where do you see or envision your career going over the next, year or 2 years, that kind of thing?
Well, right now, I'm hoping that I'm going to start making the jump and doing more 45 to like hour-long sets. Start to get my toes wet in that, because I do want to be a headline comedian. So, you know, it's just a matter of putting in the work and letting myself have the scenarios where, or, you know, generating the scenarios where that's allowed to happen. And so, yeah, that's my main focus right now, is building quality time, and I'm starting to get an idea of what I want to do as a comic, and just kind of adding drive to try and make stuff like that happen.
ShowbizMonkeys.com.
You're like, do I still have it? Edit that part out.